have been asking the city to release evidence and to release video since he lost his life. Today, you're here to make a great big announcement. What are you guys talking about this evening?
Well, today, being the 11th, it's 2 months since the actual incident happened in that jail, which caused the end of life of Brother Michael Lee Marshall. And so we know we've been through this before. So we're not doing the same rhetoric of, we're just going to protest. No, this is about taking direct action.
That's right.
And so we are calling a hunger strike. And we have a hunger strike that is not only here locally, but it's citywide and I may say nationwide. We have people who've been contacted us through email, through Facebook, through social media, saying they want to join in because they believe in the cause. They know the unjustness that's happening here in the city and county of Denver.
A couple of minutes ago, you were explaining to me how that hunger strike is going to work.
The hunger strike started today, and it is a strike in which people are able to join in where they fit in. Some of us are going without food, we're just going to have just liquids and juices. And we're doing this and continually until the demands are met. Now we know that there's some consequences that can be there, but this putting our life on the line for a fellow brother, sisters who are in these jails, who are being brutalized, our discomfort means nothing. And it's time for us to take a greater step. I'm a man of prayer and of the cloth. But prayer without works means nothing. And so we are praying and we are hungering and fasting for change here in Denver. This family is suffering. So my discomfort, as opposed to having a family member who they can't have any answers to, and there's no reason they don't have those answers.
How critical is it that the family and that the public see that video?
It's very critical. Matter of fact, we only have to look at our own history here in Denver with the Marvin Booker case, as well as nationally with the Laquan case the Laquan McDonald case in Chicago. And what it does is, if you want to ease their minds that nothing improper happened, then release the video. Otherwise, it looks like a cover-up. And if it's a cover-up, then we need to get to the root of the issue, because someone else needs help in that jail. And if it's the other members of the Denver Sheriff's Department who may need more training or may need whatever, we won't know until we see that video. So it's time for the mayor and the safety department to do what is right and release that video today. And that's why we're standing on this strike. We don't know how long it's going to take. It took 9 months, approximately, for that video of Marvin Booker to come out. And once we saw it, it was the same as it when it happened on day one. Nothing changed. It's not a matter of influencing a possible jury pool. If that's the case, it would never be released ever until a trial. So that's not going to happen. We know that.
I appreciate you taking the time, and I apologize that it's really quick, but we're trying to meet with the 6 o'clock newscast. Can I go ahead and borrow this again?
Yes, you can.
Thank you. And then, no, I just the same question that I asked you before. Why is it important for you to see that video?
I want to know what happened to my brother.
Rolling? You want me on this side over here? Why is it important, Roger, for you to see that video?
I want to know what happened to him in his last hours of life. I want to know how he ended up on the deathbed and in my health seat. I want to know. I want to see that. I want to know how it happened, why it happened. I just want to know why it happened and how it happened.
We plan on showing up every day. We plan on showing up every day.
The same location?
The same location. Because this is where the decisions are made. This is where the decisions are made. And so we plan on showing up every day. We won't be here long because as we're fasting, our energy gets a little depleted and the weather's not forgiving. But we're here for this family and we're here for the city of Denver. Because beautiful these lights are, behind these walls, something bad's happening. And bad decisions are happening.
We're going to go put our stuff together. I apologize for our deadline.
Okay.
Do your thing.
Thank you.
If we've got time after we're finished putting that stuff together, we'll come back and shoot a little bit more.
That's fine.
Thanks.
So everybody, I know we have some folks who may have still been over at the Capitol. We apologize for any any confusion. But
This is where we're going.
right, this is where we're going to meet. We're going to meet here every day, you know, for a short period of time when the weather's unforgiving like this, because we're all doing different levels of this hunger piece. Some people are fasting for certain periods throughout the day. Some people, like some of us, are doing a full fast. And so we're asking people also that they can rotate in. Don't think that this is going to be a short process. And so don't be how do I want to say, don't be ashamed to say, oh well, I need to come out for a little while. It's okay, because this is all about making a change. And we got to stick together with this. So we're rotating in, rotating out. There's no check in and check out. Just know that you're welcome, and know that we know that your prayers are welcome. Like I said to Lance Hernandez, you know, we are praying people, but this is more than a praying. You got to take some different steps, and we're adding this to the prayer, right? We're praying that these hearts and minds be changed, but in the meantime, we got to make a statement with that. So that's why we're showing up every day, and we're asking other people to show up every day. Bring your signs. You know, we'll stay out here for about an hour, you know, or you know, if it's you know, an hour or better, you know, playing it by ear, because like I said, the goal is to make a difference and to make a statement. This family needs support, and we're supporting them. And Natalia, she said something to me on Saturday, which really stuck with me, because we were talking, and she said to me, I said to her, she said, well, thank you. I said, no, thank you. I said, this is for your family. She said, no, this is really for Denver. And so we got to be clear. Just like when we stood here for Booker before, we thought it wasn't going to happen again. But to be honest, we can go through a whole litany of names when we thought it wasn't going to happen again. So that's why we're making this kind of a statement. And we're asking people to join us. Fit in where you get in. You know, journal your experience on social media. Ask other people to come in. Come on down with us for an hour. That's it. Come on down with us for a little bit. Just to make the statement. You know, we don't want them to forget why we're here. We don't want them to forget about Michael Lee Marshall. That's right. We want this case to be transparent. That's a fancy word that was thrown around for quite a while. We're going to be transparent here in Denver. Well, Denver hasn't been very transparent on any of their cases, let alone this one. And so that's why we're making a stand, and we're asking as many friends and family members to stand with us. You know, and Marshall family deserves answers, and the answers start with that videotape. Well, the first answer started with that autopsy report. Let's be honest with that. First answer started with that. So that brought up more questions that you got to explain away a whole bunch of stuff. And my gut tells me about a cover-up because of the Booker case. Because of the Booker case and how they try to use that autopsy report. And so you need time to get that kind of story together. You need time to get that kind of story together and make sense to folks. That's right. And so, but we don't want to give them no time. We want this family to have time.
Can you tell me what they have given you so far?
Nothing. Matter of fact, they're still waiting for some of his personal belongings, right?
Yeah.
They haven't
We don't have his wallet. We never received his wallet.
Can you express that? I mean, what they haven't given you and you already said what you want them to give you.
They gave us his clothes and we have his ID, but they took his ID out of his wallet and gave that to us and all his homeless shelter IDs. But in his wallet, I believe he had a social security card. He had family members' phone numbers inside of his wallet, and he had pictures of the family inside of his wallet. He had spent the night with my mom a couple of weekends before the incident took place, and him and my mom went through pictures, and he picked out the pictures that he wanted to put in his wallet. He said when he was downtown, people would ask him if he had pictures of his family, and he didn't have any. And he said, "Bryn, they don't think I have a family. They don't believe I have a family." He said, "I need pictures so I can show them." And so my mom gave him some pictures in his wallet. And that's the only thing that I know of that we haven't received, because he was homeless. And we don't know exactly what he took in there with him, but I know for a fact that he always had a wallet on him, and that wasn't in his belongings when we went with to go pick them up.
So are they cooperating with you, or are they just telling you things to cover up for other
So
stuff?
what I say is it's the same lip service, different mouths. From Stephanie O'Malley to
That's right.
Furman to Sheriff Wright to Hancock, everybody that we've spoken with always says the same thing. They promise us transparency, they're investigating. As soon as they know something, they'll tell us. And we don't know anything. The only thing that we do have back is the autopsy report, but that's the only thing we received. Nothing else. We know nothing.
And Natalia, you're his daughter, right?
I'm his niece.
You're his niece. Could you introduce some of your family members?
I'm his niece, Natalia Marshall. This is my uncle, Rodney. This is his older brother,
Mm-hmm.
Rodney Marshall. This is his sister-in-law, and that's Rodney Marshall's wife. This is my mother. This is his eldest sister.
Oh, okay.
My sister, Terry Marshall, is right there. She's right with the earmuffs.
Oh, hi.
And then that's my brother, Edwin.
Hi, Edwin.
And my cousin is... Oh, I'm sorry. And then my cousin, Rodney Marshall Jr.
Hi, Rodney. I already introduced myself, so.
So I do want to say that.
Okay, that's perfect. I was here, but I was trying to get people from the Capitol to come on.
So one of the things I just want to say briefly is this. So this is a very powerful movement, and we're praying that it also spreads. That's when you see in the sheet, we are encouraging people to get in where they fit in. They rotate in, they can rotate out from this hunger piece. But this thing goes. I believe that we're trying to break something even spiritually that's going on.
That's right.
So even when we talk about this case here, it's connected to that case where the officer just got back pay for busting a guy in the head in the jail.
And then,
Got fired, got rehired, and got all his back pay. So in essence, he had a paid vacation.
isn't that the one?
So this is a huge undertaking, and the spark is the Michael Lee Marshall case, and we can't forget that. We want to make sure that as we're talking to folks, we're meeting every day here. Every day we're meeting down here, and we want to do it on time because as Brother Rodney said, some media shows up, and media is great when they show up because they get the story out. That's good. But we also want to get in and get out because the weather's kind of unforgiving too, right? So we have some folks who are doing full fast and full hunger. They're just doing liquids. There are some folks who are doing, they're not doing other kinds of fast and that kind of piece. It's up to the individual because we're all supporting each other. It's not one way. But we show up to let them know that we're not going to let this case drop. And there's so many similarities. Missing the personal items is the connective piece, even with Booker's piece. I mean, there's just so many pieces where they couldn't have called the family without going through the wallet. So where's the wallet? It's that important, you know. And so, and the family's been through a lot of things that we need to address. We really do need a federal investigation here in Denver.
Yes.
Most definitely.
We've been quiet. The community has been supportive, if you will, of Mary Hancock's reform, but reform ain't coming quick enough. When you have a citizen, the oversight board that could come in and turn over fired deputies who were brutalizing people, then something's wrong with that. When you got folks who are dying in these jails repeatedly, something's wrong. When you got folks who are dying in the streets, whether it's the sheriff, whether it's the police, we have it all throughout our system, all throughout our safety system. There's a problem. There's a problem. And that's why we're doing this, and that's why we're taking this stance. We want that video right away. We don't want it 9 months from now. Whatever's on that video today is going to be on in 9 months.
That's right.
And nothing's going to change.
Hopefully.
And we're not buying the story that it is for the best interest of the case. If you're going to release that video before trial, that means the same jury pool will see it before trial.
That's right.
Right.
So it doesn't make any sense to hold on to it. So we're calling on the mayor to change his mind, because we've already asked him directly. That's why we're taking this stance. The asking part is over.
Yeah.
This is a demand and a protest.
Yes.
This is a demand and a protest.
Right. I hear you.
She's live streaming. Anybody else have any questions? Brother Rashawn, Brother Pastor Holmes. Anybody else?
Rashawn, do you have your
Tanya?
flashlight with your phone that you could to do a light on?
Anyone else have anything you want to say?
Lynn Castaway is here. Oh, Castaway's mother.
Yeah.
My name is.
Oh
Lynn
yeah,
Castaway.
hi. I give you a hug. Oh, I just pulled your hair.
Upload that video for 6 o'clock, and it says if they can get it up in time, they'll come back over and do some more interviews with folks.
Yeah. So
My only question is,
let me explain to you what I do. I live stream,
okay,
and when I live stream, like Rashawn and them know what I do. So that I have people from all over the United States connected to me.
okay,
And I also host a live streaming page that hosts everybody. So we come out and we'll live stream and we'll put it out there. I have a lot of people. I can get this out for you.
Appreciate it. And Brother Soul, he has a radio program. He's national as well. You know, so this thing is not just staying here locally. And we appreciate all that you're doing.
yes.
Appreciate all that you're doing, Brother Soul.
Thank you, thank you.
It was nice meeting everybody.
Yes, ma'am.
I am Lynn Eaglefeather, and I'm here on behalf of my son Paul, who was murdered. Yesterday was 24 weeks. So since his murder, there has been 4 other murders. And I have been to the citizens oversight meetings. So I have went in there and demanded this, before several times, and there has not been a response. And last night I have got back, and I have been harassed by the police already since I've been back.
I'm sure.
So, but I am here in solidarity with all of you, and it's good to be here with you in solidarity, and I am behind you all the way.
Anybody else
Want to say anything?
Family members who've been through some things right now?
And I was talking to somebody on the phone with my my grandbabies.
Yeah, that's me.
That's you?
Ebony. Yeah.
So we're kind of connected already. So
Yeah. I seen that. I seen your page and with the baby all over it, and I was like, that looks just like Ebony's daughter.
that is. That's my grandbaby, my great grandbaby. So.
But
All right. Well, I'm gonna
only
shut
thing
this.
I have to say, I wanted to say, because the sheriffs are still going to work daily, and
That's right.
and it's unfair that they continue to go to work daily after someone has been murdered.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious to know if they're collaborating a story, like because they're all under the same,
Roof.
building. They're all under the same employment.
Right.
They can go to lunch together. My uncle can't go to lunch with us. He can't come to our holidays. He can't do that. So it's kind of an uncomfortable and overwhelming feeling knowing that they still work daily. And I don't even know, we don't even have any evidence. We don't even know what happened. We don't have all the answers. So we have no answers. So it's scary to know that the sheriffs go to work daily. Even if they are unrestricted duty, they still have access to the information that we don't have.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's right.
I just want to put that out there as well. Something needs to be done about that. It's not right.
I think there's a couple of important points that I think that need to be made. One, if you look around this circle, you mostly see people of color. And if you look at the hands of, we have a black mayor, we have a black police chief, we had a black sheriff, we have a black person in public safety. So we have people of color that are in these positions that we voted for and helped put them in those positions because we wanted something different. And yet and still, this is a lesson for us.
Amen.
Right? This is a lesson for us that it doesn't matter what the color of the skin is necessarily going to look like in these buildings. What matters is what the results are on the streets, and we see what the results are on the streets, right? I grew up next door to Michael Marshall. My mom sent me pictures of us playing since we were children. This is personal for me, right? This is absolutely personal. And in order for us to get the change that we need in this, we're going to have to create alliances like that are standing here today. None of us are going to be able to be segmented and work this thing out. And that's why I think, sister, I know your loss is deep. I feel it. And I post on it all the time. I talk about it on my show. I feel it. And the beautiful thing that comes out of this, and it's unfortunate, is that we create activists. I heard this sister talking on Channel 7 and Channel 9. I bet she ain't never been on TV before. But now she's finding her voice through this pain and through this murder. And we need to reach out to others to make sure that it don't take that in order for us to be activists. We don't need any more blood on the streets. We have paid the cost in order for us to be activists. And so I want us, and I'm reaching out my hand in solidarity to black, brown, red, white, to let you know that this is a problem that is on this. Michael Marshall died because he was poor. Michael Marshall died because he was homeless. Michael Marshall died because he was dealing with a mental illness that the state and the city refused to give the proper services to so that he could be managed. It's an absolute embarrassment to this city that this dude only needed $100 to get out. That means he should have never been in there in the first place. But that's the way they deal with that. That's the way they deal with us when they're rolling on these streets and trying to make their quotas and whatnot. Michael Marshall died because he was black. And unless we make that point known and we challenge those points and we look at a mayor that grew up on the east side, that he ran on that platform, that he was one of us. Went to Manual High School, so he knows Michael Marshall. I don't know whether he's told y'all that or not, but he knows who Michael Marshall is. We all knew Mike. Walked around with a radio on his shoulder. We know Mike. And now he's gone. And who's paying the piper but the family and those of us in the community? Yeah. So I ask for us to share our information and come in solidarity with each other, because this has to stop. And we can't be being led by carrots like, oh, let's go through the system. And no, we know how y'all do it. Y'all just spent $51 million or $5 million for to reform, to have some people study in DC what needs to happen to the sheriff's department.
They hired
that just happened 3 months ago. Y'all said that this is the new face. So now we see that the new face is the same old face, and it's going to continue to be the same old face until we make it different. And we have the power to do that if we're united with each other.
I was at a meeting and Stephanie O'Malley was there, and she said they just got through hiring 200 sheriffs.
What kind of training? What kind of training?
The training, they had a police officer that was on the OIM board that was there, and he said that they'll be the ones to train them. They train the police, so they will be training them.
So the problem that we have, and I've been on some of the boards, and some of the problems that we have with that is twofold. One, what they're talking about doing now was actually decided 2014. 2014, I was part of the group that came up with those recommendations. 2014. Now, and that included mental health training, and included training for all that. It was a very extensive piece. None of it went into action or went into work. They didn't start picking it up again until I think it was June of 2015. They disbanded us in October of 2014.
Disbanded who?
The first group that came up with all these recommendations.
Oh, okay.
This is when they said that they needed the public help. They came and got different folks from different organizations because they wanted it to be community, right? Put all that work in, and then they disbanded everything. They said they wanted to wait for the new police chief and all that kind of stuff. Well, the most important thing that we needed to have done was that mental health piece. Because that was connected to a Booker case.
Right.
So now that they got this new group coming in, I'm glad that they're addressing their manpower situation, because that means that the first story they told us about that new jail being what it was.
That's right.
Was not true. And so that's why they had to add this number of people. It is still undermanned. That's number one. You understand the big numbers is good to hear, but it's still undermanned.
Right.
Number two, the training issue. They haven't trained the current group of people.
Right.
So you're going to bring another 200 in. When are they going to get their training? You can't have, when according to that autopsy report and the report that was done by the coroner, 2 folk on that floor were trained in mental health.
Right.
2. We don't know if it was if any of those handled Mike. You know why we don't know? Because they won't give us any information.
They won't give you any
And that
information.
information is important to have. So when they start trying to line up stories and trying to line up what the truth is or what's not the truth, what the cover is, that's what all this is about. Mental health, this is the largest, the jail is the largest mental health institution right now. And they're not trained. They're not trained. And so we need them to be able, we got folks in community right now who can do that work. So if you got some people who are having, I'm sorry, when the family was telling me about how they knew he was off his meds from their conversation.
Right.
If they knew it from the conversation, that means those jailers knew it. And if they knew it, then someone should have put an order in to get him in front of someone for help. See, this is why this, as far as the mental health piece goes, is so huge. And why this city is refusing to take the necessary steps as if this was an emergency. If that would have been one of the mayor's relatives that died that way, it'd be an emergency. If it had been somebody of power,
That's
and it
right.
was their loved one who died like that,
right.
it'd be an emergency.
That's
We
right.
have an action done right away. But it wasn't that way. It didn't happen that way. It was a poor black man with mental health issues.
That's right.
And because he was that way, he was nothing to them.
That's right.
We will treat him just like he's any regular old sane person who's just acting up. The problem with that is your body responds differently when it's going through psychological issues as opposed to just being irritated.
That's right.
Right.
And so they are the cause of this man's death.
That's right.
They need to own up to it.
That's right.
I'm sure this is going to be another 5-year process. I'm sad to say, because this city will not even own up to its actions of the past. It'll probably be another 5-year process before this family gets justice.
That's right.
And I'm sad that that's what it is. But ultimately, we want justice. But right now, we want that videotape.
That's right.
Yes.
We want answers. We want to know if you got a plan about dealing with mental health. What is it? Because we got a plan for you. If you got a plan,
That's right.
we got a plan for you if you don't have one.
That's right.
Because that man should have been seen by somebody. Why wasn't he? Who's your 24-hour mental health person?
That's right.
Huh? Who is it?
That's right.
We need answers. This family deserves answers.
That's right.
They're grieving. They can't get basic belongings or questions answered. They were put through the ringer the day he was in the hospital. No one should take 4 hours to find out your loved one's in the hospital.
That's right.
Oh my
4
gosh.
hours. That's unheard of.
You and I
know
need to
what
get
happened to
together.
him until we seen it on the news.
Right.
They got to find out on the news what happened to him. What kind of nonsense is that? But that's why we're doing this fast. That's why we're doing this hunger strike.
That's right.
That's why we're taking this action. And that's why we're going to continue on. We're sure, I just want to get a consensus on the time because timing is important. Time is important. We're able to show up. So if 5:30 is a little early, y'all let me know.
Yeah,
If we need to do it at 6 o'clock, let's do it. Let's make it so we do it at 6. We don't have to be here all night, but we need to be here so they know that that Michael's life mattered to us.
That's right.
It mattered to this family.
That's
It
right.
mattered to this community. And the next person, because there's going to be a next.
Yes, sir.
No, I pray to God there's
No,
not.
I pray to God too.
I
But you know
really
what?
do.
I said the same thing during the Booker
Yeah,
trial.
and that's what they.
I said the same thing during the Booker trial. I pray this is the last time, but I knew when they stopped us from moving forward with the recommendation that somebody wasn't serious.
That's right.
And because you're slowing down on simple things as training,
Right.
mental health training,
That's right.
de-escalation process training,
That's right.
because you don't put that in place, someone's gonna die.
That's right.
And that means someone else is going to.
That's right.
I pray it don't happen that way, but more than likely it will.
That's right.
Because they're not taking this seriously.
No.
This is about let's circle the wagons, and let's get our story straight.
That's right.
Well, we're
Exactly.
circling our wagons as a community.
That's right.
And we're not just doing it here locally. Like I said, this is a nationwide piece. We got folks calling from all over, and we're just asking everybody to stand together. Stand together. However you can participate. If you're doing a full hunger strike, great. If you're doing a partial fast, fine. If you need to break it and then come back in, fine. Invite somebody else to come down and stand with us for that hour. We're gonna be out here for about an hour. That's about almost close to where we're at right now.
That's right.
We're gonna show up for about an hour a day because we want them to know that we're serious. And we want that tape.
That's right.
We want that tape. We're not gonna stop our fast. We're not gonna stop our hunger strike until it is done.
That's right.
Pastor Hughes, I do have another question. I'm sorry. The police department now has to do psychological testing. Do you think that the same thing should go for the Denver sheriffs?
Yes.
Anybody
definitely.
handling people, any person who is handling
Definitely.
the public.
Yes, I said
They
the
are
same
in
thing.
they are in their care, and they should go through rigorous psychological evaluation. Because
be held
if
to a higher standard.
That's
because
right.
they're
Absolutely.
paid employees.
That's
They
right.
have
Exactly.
had
Of the
training.
That's right.
absolutely,
Right.
absolutely.
It's just like a priest or a teacher, that they are in a position of
Oh,
trust, and therefore the people need to be protected.
And steroid testing. They need to be tested for steroids.
Mm.
They are on steroids or have just got back from the war. I do not think they have any business being a cop, because my son was killed in front of 18 children.
Mm.
So that needs to be changed also. And the CIT training, Furman told me it was every 6 months that they did that. So apparently he's lying to somebody. So I will be behind you guys and be here. We will all bring more people to this.
Absolutely.
If we all bring more people every time we come here, the circle will get larger.
That's right.
So 6 o'clock a good time for everybody?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I say 5:30. I was only late because I picked the wrong location.
6 o'clock on what days?
We're gonna meet every day.
Every day.
We're coming every day.
No, not every day.
Every day. Every day until that video is released. Anybody else missing a flyer?
I need one.
To just pass those around for those who don't have one. It kind of goes into the hunger strike, kind of goes into what the demands are as well.
Not the people at the time set, but the people who's getting off of work.
I have one, sister.
I'd like to be here at 1:32 o'clock when the mayor's up there.
Right.
Right.
Well, you
I'd
know,
like for him to look out the
okay.
window.
Right.
Well, we can do a couple shifts now. This ain't a one
Okay,
size.
sister.
And I work
Sit on one
night
side,
shift, so I'm available.
In the daytime.
Okay.
I am.
Okay.
What time you
So here's what we're gonna do.
What time?
We're gonna do 2 shifts. We'll do one at 6, right, for those who are getting off work, and we'll do one in the afternoon
For lunch.
for lunchtime.
Mm-hmm.
So what? 1 o'clock? 1 o'clock? 1 o'clock. Every day.
Here,
We'll
here.
meet twice.
So how
We'll
long
meet
will be
twice.
1 to what?
1 hour.
Just 1 hour.
Just 1
Yeah.
hour. Show up with your signs. Show up with your signs. Show up what you need.
I'll do
6 o'clock.
I'll do the 1 o'clock. You do the
Are
okay.
you comfortable with other families bringing their signs and being about all the people who've been killed in
This is about
bad
justice.
people?
This
Yes.
is about
This is about
justice.
This is for the community.
That's right. And
So
so,
this is for justice overall.
absolutely.
No
And-
one deserves this.
Absolutely. And like we said, there's a whole litany of names we could go down, right? Today it's Michael E. Marshall, but there were several names beforehand, and we're praying that there's not names after, but we know there will be. So we're asking everybody to join in.
That's right.
We're asking everybody to join in with this fast and this hunger strike as well.
That's right.
What's your level? And we want you to document your experience. Document your experience. What are you going through for this?
Exactly.
What are you going through for this? We're out here in this cold for a reason. And it's important that our stories get out as well. We need them to know, we need the mayor to know that this is serious. We want this changed. There's no reason why that tape is still being held. None. None. As you said, we want them to have heart. Right? We want them to have heart.
Exactly.
So we need them to change their heart around that. So
They're
what
studying
we
that
want.
tape to get their story together. That's all I can think of. My opinion.
Since we talked last, has there been any communication with the family again around condolences?
No.
No.
We have not.
Donation?
No.
We haven't. All I know is what I read online and heard from the news. And the only thing that's out right now is that they're going over the evidence and going over the autopsy, and Mitch Morrissey will let us know if he's charging them with murder or not. And that's all on the news and media. Like,
Yeah, that's
but
all.
no, they don't
Contacted
contact us.
anybody.
has Mayor Hancock reached out to your family and spoken
No.
to you yet?
No, Mayor
No.
Hancock has
No.
yet to speak with us.
Nobody.
That's deep.
No.
So you haven't gotten a
That's
apology or
No.
anything like that? Or?
That's really
No.
deep.
Nothing from there.
No.
Manager safety.
Nothing.
Manager
Well, we
Stacey, she
talked-
contacted us.
Yes.
We had a meeting with her in the very, very beginning of when this incident took place and when Uncle Michael was in the hospital. We sat down with a city attorney, I believe his name was Scott, and we sat down with Stephanie O'Malley and Furman, and that was the last time we heard from them. We haven't heard from them yet.
Because I miss you.
And the city attorney didn't, the city attorney that did sit down with us was extremely rude. So
if you were able to speak directly to Mayor Michael Hancock and tell him about the fast or the hunger strike, etc., what would you say right now directly to the mayor?
Directly to the mayor, I demand evidence. I demand transparency. I demand this city to go over or go through reforming, go through the retraining, really reform the city. I want him to be involved with the citizens, not just be a voice within themselves in the state and with the police. We don't have justice. Like I said, he hasn't contacted us not once. We've never heard from Hancock. And
It seems like
it's like a smack in the face. Like, how do you not even apologize or just even acknowledge the situation?
well
He
now
didn't
that
even acknowledge it.
now that he knows it's a homicide. I mean, they've already deemed it a homicide. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I mean, they should be like trying to knock on your door, send you letters, and
No.
they haven't done anything.
No
Wow.
apologies, no letters. All I ask is for real transparency. All I ask is for a release of the evidence. I really, truly believe that we deserve. Right. We deserve that. That's true.
But it's a matter of common decency. It's a matter of common decency and respect of life.
That's right.
Even when Booker was first murdered, then Mayor Hancock reached out to that family. Hickenlooper did.
Hickenlooper did.
Hickenlooper did. This current mayor never did.
Right.
Even
No.
after, through the whole trial, the whole 4 years, the whole thing, he never did.
Even in the Booker case?
The Booker case was Hickenlooper is what he's saying. And the reason why we have to understand that we may not be hearing from the mayor or we're not hearing from the DA's office and